Alright, guide to JDAMs. Lock in. You just bought an F2 or you grinded something with JDAMs. And you don't know how they work. You've literally never touched them before. So I'm going to show you how to use them and the different versions. Let me close these so it's less cluttered. First, you have normal JDAMs. These are just like normal bombs, but you can tell them to go somewhere, and so long as you put like nearby the area, they'll guide there perfectly fine on their own. No JDAM, unless it's an LJDAM or the Israeli spice bombs, can track moving targets. So keep that in mind. But you have normal JDAMs, they're just bombs that can guide themselves. You have JDAM ERs, which the ER just means extended range, which can be very useful because you can absolutely yeet these bombs. You can throw them so far. I've had zero troubles hitting a target 25 kilometers away, and you could probably throw them further. Back to normal JDAMs, just bombs that guide themselves, and then bigger JDAM ERs. Now, LJDAMs, like found on the F2A, are basically JDAMs with glide. Some of them are glide bombs, some of them aren't. Are JDAMs that have a laser guidance mode on top of the GPS mode. Which means, you can guide them with your targeting pod, but if you keep the laser designator off, they just pretend like they're normal JDAMs and will just go to wherever you put them. These will be good against guiding against like tanks, because with the F2 you do get a good amount, but with the F2 ADTW you can't do that because they don't guide against tanks. Now, back to the Israeli stuff. If we look at, the Sufa, you see Spice 2000s, and they look pretty familiar. Well, they are literally guided bombs with GPS and IR guidance, so they can track against moving targets. They even have a Spice 1000, which is the same thing but smaller and has glide wings. They also have GBU-39s, which are just GPS bombs that are super small, but you get a lot of them. Next, there's the paveways. If you don't want to use JDAMs, these are just laser-guided bombs. You put them near the target, and then you can guide them with the laser targeting pod, and they'll track moving targets. There's bigger versions. And yeah, I'm going to show you how to use them. So first, let's go into test flight. I'll use the JDAM ERs that are the bigger ones. And the first thing you're going to notice is if you don't have a targeting pod, you can't go into the targeting pod. So what do you do then? Well, if we go into controls, we can search up sight, and right here, sight stabilization and disable sight stabilization. You're going to need those two. And let's just say you want to target these AI right here that are just sitting here doing nothing. You're going to press sight stabilization near them, and then you're going to find out your guided bomb key. Either you're going to need drop guided bomb, but you don't really need lock guided bombs. This is like turning the seeker head on and off. It can be useful in case you lock up a friendly or something. But after you press sight stabilization, literally all you're going to do is drop it. And you're going to see the JDAM ER pulls out of its wings, it flies, and then it hits right where you put it. Like I said, these have a lot of range. Like there's a tank all the way at 8 kilometers over here. Get it near him, get some speed, and drop the bomb. Now you can just fly away like you didn't even drop nothing. You're avoiding his missiles, and this thing is just doing it all for you. It is safe to say they are pretty susceptible to being shot down because they're so slow. And they do kind of have a limited range because, well, I'll get into that in a moment, but you can see I'm nowhere near the target. I'm 10 kilometers away, flying away from it, and it's still guiding, it's still doing perfectly fine. And with the normal JDAMs, they have a guidance time of 200 seconds. So they can guide a target for 200 seconds, but the JDAM ERs have a guidance time of 400 seconds. So you get twice as much range, and that's the difference. Just, one has wings that can fly, the other doesn't. Now, if I pick a loadout with the targeting pod, we'll go with this one, and then go into test flight. You will notice I have the targeting pod. I can go into it, and just because this one has fancy thermals, I'll turn them on. Let's just say, where's that anti-air? Spot him any day now. Oh, there's one. You can, if you press your scroll wheel or middle mouse button on the map, you can put your targeting pod to look over there. It's very useful. But as you can see, there's the anti-air. I'll drop my bomb right there on his track, and you will see it flips over. It's guiding, it's guiding, it's guiding. It hits basically right where I put it. I think that was just, it didn't hit exactly on the dot because I, was so close. Didn't have much time to guide and accurately hit. But we'll do it against these guys. Drop here, here, here. And all I'm doing is hitting the sight stabilization button and then hovering over the target and then just pressing drop guided bomb. And it will consider that as like the GPS coordinate, because these are GPS guided. I know it says GNSS or whatever, but you could just call it GPS. No one's gonna flame me for that. But yeah, you just hover over them, press the drop guided bomb. They'll guide. They'll do their thing. You don't need to like sit there and aim at them all day, like you have to with laser guided bombs or anything laser guided. You'll see that one hit. That one hit, that one hit. They all hit. Now, the GBU 39s, the super small ones that you get a ton of, were pretty popular when they came out because, they were brand new. But these ones, the GBU 62 JDAM ERs, are pretty much the same thing, but they're a little bit bigger. I mean, if you wanted to, you could bomb bases with them, but they're not really that powerful. And bases have weird mechanics to them, where if it's a guided munition, it just does less damage, which is very weird. But you'll see they guide. But onto that problem I was talking about earlier, where they have a limited range. And that's actually because of the targeting pod. Now, I would assume it's because the game is just really old, and it's a really old mechanic. And you see my bombs hit. If you are very, very far away with the targeting pod, and say you're trying to look at that anti-air over here, let's zoom in on him. Hit middle mouse on the map to make my targeting pod look over there. And let's turn around very slowly because we're going very fast. You'll see I am past 30 kilometers. If I move my mouse and the target is still 30 kilometers away or more, the camera will just slowly look down. Like I can just look over here and you'll see it moves down just slightly. It's very annoying. It's like your camera is, instead of looking like all the way wherever you're trying to look, it's looking at 30 kilometers. So effectively, your targeting pod has a 30 kilometer range. but they don't really tell you that. So what I will do is I'll find that anti-air. He's 17 kilometers away. I'll just drop a bomb on him. I'll drop it on this other one too. Why not? Now, like I said, they do have a long guidance time, and they do take forever to hit somebody at range. I'm talking, if you're in ARB and it's a sim map, you could drop these bombs 25 kilometers away. And then by the time you get to the airfield, they will finally hit the target. It takes a pretty long time. And I wouldn't recommend using these in normal ARB games because, well, it makes you very susceptible to being missiled, which is not very good. Just proving they can't guide moving target, or they can't track moving targets. They're entirely just area guided. Yeah, they would have probably killed anyways. You could see this one is, it still hasn't hit that anti-air. It's actually just now starting to point downwards because it's getting close. But you can see I'm not even close to that thing. I'm like so far away. 28 kilometers away. The first one actually just hit. This one's about to hit. And dead. So they can be very useful against AI or an anti-air that's sitting in their spawn. But they can't track moving targets, and they take forever to hit. So if there's an active anti-air, they will probably just shoot down the bombs. So I wouldn't really recommend using JDAMs in ground RB, just because they're so slow. But yeah, they can be pretty useful. That's about it.